is Bailey Haynes, and I will be singing Pierro by Debussy. Probably the worst run through on those high notes I've gotten so far, so that bugs me, but the room feels like it's a lot. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a really nice space. So what did you like about it? If you didn't like it, what did you like about it?
I strangely felt probably the most confident diction-wise, just because this is like done. I learned this piece when a few years back, and it was one that I actually learned pretty quickly, and so I was able to focus more on the diction. But like the phrasing was something that I felt like I paid quite a bit of attention to, and tried to tell the story of this mime, which is really interesting.
Pierro's weird.
Yeah.
Good. Comments.
I know you don't feel great about those high notes, but for those of us who are currently being asked by our professors to hit E's and F's and stuff, and we cannot do it, that was freaking phenomenal, dude. Just like another outstanding performance by Bailey, as usual. Like you said, the diction was phenomenal, but I think everything else was really good too. This piece is fun, you had a good time with it, and we all enjoyed hearing it. It was really good.
I think this song is really cool, and I think you did a fantastic job at it.
Thank you.
I don't want to be that person, but what is the song about?
So there is a mime, and this mime's character, Pierro, it also translates to Peter. The origin of this character goes back to 1660 and also 1554 in poems, like French poems. And his character is kind of, it's so weird, because there's another character named Harlequin in this, and I think it's ironic because he reminds me of the Joker in that he's so unpredictable of a character. So like he's a person who will like steal things, he'll be mischievous, he can be really romantic at times, he can be really passionate at times, but at this point he's like, he has attended this wedding, and this woman has gotten married, Columbine I think her name is, and he's like kind of processing after the wedding. I think he performed in it for like the social reception afterwards. And at the end of the reception, there's this other girl who shows up with like a loose fitting blouse, like she's trying to like corrupt him, seduce him and all this stuff. And it's talking about how he's kind of just like glancing at her and he doesn't really know what to do. And then he ends up looking at the white moon, and this song, as much as I looked it up, it's kind of like an abstract meaning with just how she's there trying to seduce him, and he's in this translation, I can't find any emotional response that he gave to her, but he glanced at her sidelong, and also there's another character, Jean Gaspard, but he's basically just this random dude that's being seduced by a very promiscuous woman.
Okay, cool. I figured, so the reason I asked is because I figured you had done some extensive research. Because knowing you, you always do so much research on the piece that you're saying, and you pay careful attention to your diction, and I just wanted to applaud that. So I wanted to give you a moment. That was really awesome. It also explains the piece's kind of awkwardness and stuff like that. And like, I know it feels weird, but you started to lean into it, and I know when you cut off, you're a little bit like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I felt my face twitch. I'm like, don't do that.
No, honestly, it was very enjoyable. It was very fun and watching it and listening. It was just a whole experience. But yeah, I just wanted to applaud your amount of preparedness. I know you were reading and everything like that, but that was really cool. I really did enjoy that.
I always look forward to seeing you sing, like, truly. I really enjoyed this piece. I liked the character you put into it. Like, it's a weird piece and it's a weird character, but I felt like
indie film.
Yeah, it was just so entertaining. Like, I really enjoyed this. This is really like different and unique and interesting.
Anyone else?
Okay, sorry.
Awesome control. Just like those jumps in general, just crazy. Just like the change in your entire aura from the beginning, like. Yeah. So it's a pleasure watching you perform.
It was so good. I loved it so much. It was so impressive. Like you said you were confident in the high notes, but it sounded confident. And I loved that you said you weren't sure of like what the character was, but I could definitely tell you went with like the sassy approach.
Yeah,
And
in a third person view, so it's like this random obscure, like I guess like I envision it like a camera watching this tea unfold, because he's not supposed to be out there with her, like he's not in a place where he's supposed to be, so it's just like the camera's looking at him like The Office, like you sure you want to do that, bud? So it's kind of funny.
Okay, so Pierro is a clown. He's a stock clown character, and his face is always covered in white, sad too. And you know the poofy white clown costume, that's Pierro. And then Columbina and Harlequin are also their Commedia dell'arte characters, so they're also comedians. So theater people are involved in all of this, which kind of explains the story. So, because they're all real poofy. So the high notes at the beginning, when you are ascending to them, it's much harder for you than the descending ones. The ones where you started on the high notes and went down were much easier, they were much more well supported, and they were much more the vowels were more well formed. So I want you to do the beginning again, but I want you to feel like you're kind of throwing those off. Like the ones that when they're going up, like you don't need to close back down to anything, try to just toss them away. Just let your jaw unhinge and let it, let the high note come out and just kind of toss it up and then continue on with the line.
Okay. Start off the beginning. Yeah. Can I do the two measures for break? Sure. Okay.
Moving forward a little bit.
Okay, on the
high note, on the
okay.
on the B, yeah.
Okay.
a great starting place. Did you feel that freedom that you had there?
Yeah, I was taught to carry through into the trill. I think that's why I was holding on to it. That time I made a separation there. Like not a breath, but I like stopped the note before the top of 15 and that felt better.
Yeah, so this isn't like a final destination, but it's kind of in the middle, because when you're trying to, it's hard to hold that kind of a high note off, because, and the way it's written, this is a very staccato piece, it's light and dancey feeling, right? So it's not meant to be, right? That's not what the song sounds like, right?
Okay.
For the most part, to
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I like with the recordings I would hear that, yeah.
What were you saying?
I think it was just the stylistic choices that I'm trying to figure out what phrase is. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied right now. Legato was something that I have been struggling with for a while, so something that Dr. K did was make sure that I would carry through phrases like that in pieces, which is why I learned it this way.
Yeah, and it's not
but it feels so much better to just let it.
Yeah, and it's not that you shouldn't carry over a little bit, but those didn't feel super separated. Especially
It felt like it went a bit straight tone at the high, at that B.
At the B?
Mm-hmm.
I think it vibrated, it just wasn't very long. But this is kind of a starting place. I want you to feel that gesture, that moving up gesture, and not feeling like you need to bring weight with it.
Okay.
So that you can move through the line. You can stay connected in the line, but don't feel like you have to bring a bunch of weight up to that note, just because it's a big high note.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Very nice though, very nice work. This is hard to learn and it's very well in your body, obviously. There's a couple of places you need to look at your diction again, but for the most part, your diction's very good in this.
Thank you.
Yeah.